Guys, today is October 28th. Okay, that means we're just 3 days away from Halloween. Okay, it's this Friday, October 31st. And also, guys, that just makes us just 3 days away from the WNBA CBA negotiations deal deadline. So, again, this October 31st, the deadline will expire. More than likely, hopefully, we'll see an extension, okay, until the WNBA players and the WNBA can agree to a new deal for the WNBA players. But in the meantime, in between time, guys, Napheesa Collier, aka Dr. Martin Luther Fee, okay? That's the girls are calling her in the W, right? And also the fans, because she is just like the spearhead of like calling out the foolishness and the poor leadership and management of the WNBA in their leadership, pretty much. She is not backing down. Not only has she decided to come at Cathy Englebert again, she is now dragging Adam Silver into it. She's saying that the player salaries, that which we all should know by now, the WNBA player salaries are so just ridiculously low. Not only is she saying like the salaries are so low that to the point where with a new CBA negotiation deal, if it doesn't get finalized, they're literally grossly taking advantage of these women. She said, "We are so underpaid. We are literally getting taken advantage of, and it should be illegal." Please allow me to read to you a little bit of excerpts from two articles. The first one being essentiallysports.com, and this one is titled Napheesa Collier slams Cathy Englebert, Adam Silver over illegal Caitlin Clark treatment amid CBA deadline. So yes, again, she is adding Caitlin Clark's name into it. Okay, she's using Caitlin Clark as I like to say as like a centerpiece. Okay, to really get more people interested. Napheesa Collier, who started the domino to begin with, has further emphasized how the players are being cheated by giving the example of Caitlin Clark. "We are being so grossly almost taken advantage of, and it should be illegal," Collier told Emily of Glamour. She further highlighted that Caitlin Clark is being massively undervalued by the league in its current and proposed CBA. And she quotes by saying, "The amount of money that Caitlin Clark has made the league is insane, and she's getting 0% of it because we have no rev share," Collier said. "She gets less than $80,000 a year, and she's bringing in like hundreds of millions of dollars. It's insane." Collier does have a point here because the WNBA owes a lot of its recent success to Caitlin Clark. Ryan Brewer, a finance professor at Indiana University, Columbus, an evaluation specialist, explained that Clark's presence was responsible for more than 25% of the WNBA's revenue in her rookie year without getting a cut from that. Shocking but still a reality, less than 1% of Caitlin Clark's total income comes from her WNBA salary, as her $1 million brand deal carries a heavy load. However, Clark and other players could have received a piece according to the current CBA. The article goes on to say, "Let me explain. The current CBA from 2020 does have a revenue sharing provision that could give players 17.5% of surplus revenue. So what does surplus mean? So the league sets some revenue targets, which are cumulative, while signing the CBA's 28%. If the revenue goes beyond the target, the excess money is shared with the players. However, the surplus rate has never been achieved." For the upcoming CBA, the league has included increased salaries and a similar provision. However, reportedly, the targets are more lenient than the last CBA. Even with lenient targets, the pie is shrunk further if we refer to the current CBA. The only revenue that could be shared is the small increment beyond the target. Whatever that hypothetical amount might be, 30% is slashed as the cost of revenue. So the remaining 70% is considered the shared revenue, and it is now split equally between the players and the league. All in all, the players will get crumbs even with the improved CBA, which is why Collier are standing firm on the revenue share demand. The talks are still stalled as the two parties have reportedly agreed to extend the deadline beyond October 31st. So in order for the WNBA players to actually get paid just like a surplus, they have to actually reach certain targets of surplus, which is 20%, okay, 20% plus of revenue made in the league. And then when it comes to that surplus, which they have not been able to reach, by the way, right? Even though we've seen a huge surge. Whatever that hypothetical amount is, okay, when it comes to them reaching that threshold, that might just be 30%. It's now slashed as the cost of revenue. So they're paying for the cost of revenue. Whatever is remaining, obviously, is 70%. They would have to split that up between the WNBA players and the owners of the league, which again leaves them with crumbs, with nothing. So again, it's obvious why, like they said in the article, why Napheesa Collier and the other WNBA players are like, "No, we're staying on business. We need to increase the revenue sharing, period. We don't want to hear, well, first you got to meet this threshold, and then we're going to divvy it up, and, we're going to all get a piece of the pie." No, absolutely not. Again, it's very wise for Napheesa Collier to keep adding, Caitlin Clark in this discussion when it comes to WNBA players and increasing their salary because, again, right now, as she said, she even said it, and it even shows in the figures. Caitlin Clark by herself alone drew in, she demanded a 25% more surplus increase in just generating interest in the WNBA as a league. And she said, you know what? Napheesa Collier said after that 25% surge of interest, all the money, the millions of dollars that the WNBA has made off of Caitlin Clark's name, image, and likeness alone, she has not been able to receive 0% of that. as well as obviously like none of the other WNBA players have. Angel Reese has not received, more beyond like what she's being paid when it comes to her base salary, which is like what, $74,000 to $76,000 per year for playing for the Chicago Sky. Players such as Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, Asia Wilson, they're drawing in millions and millions of dollars to the WNBA, and they're not making a dime off of it. Insane. Again, October 31st, aka Halloween, and the deadline for the WNBA players and the WNBA to reach that CBA negotiation deal. That deadline is fastly approaching. We're just 3 days away, less than 3 days away now, right? So, again, hopefully they can come up with a solution that actually pays these women, increases their salary, and also increases the revenue sharing in order for them to be paid appropriately.